Welcome to Boy Scout University. Today we're going to demonstrate the MSR Dragonfly. This is a multi-purpose, multi-fuel stove that's available for anywhere from about $110 to $140. It's a compact backpacking stove, and personally it's one of my favorites. What we're going to do today is show you how to set up the stove, boil some water with it. We're going to time the boil, and then we're going to show you how to break down the stove and pack it away, which is as important as setting it up in the first place. Now, this stove comes in a pretty hefty sack, stuff bag, which is nice, good quality. I have no connection to MSR, but I got to tell you, I like their products. They're good stuff. Here's a stove that comes out all nice and compact. The thing that fell out and flunked just a second ago is the pump. This will actually go into the fuel bottle. We'll show you that in a second. Comes with instruction booklets in more languages than you probably speak. And there's a windscreen that folds out. I don't particularly like to use this windscreen. I do use a windscreen, but just not this one, and I'll show you that one in a couple of minutes. And then there's actually a protection ring that comes that's like a donut. It folds out, and you can set your stove on it. It's to protect the ground from starting a fire or spilling fuel on the ground or do anything like that. And for this demonstration, we're not going to use either one of those. The next thing this stove comes with is a little toolkit, which is very handy. Some spare parts to keep your stove in good working order. You can also buy an overhaul kit for the stove if it gets run down or needs some work, and those kits are about $25 to $30. So we're going to put this aside and show you how to make ready with the stove. This stove has nesting legs, which I find real neat. They just sort of spring out. They pop out like that. They're very firm, stainless, I think spring steel. And then we unlatch this, which then it folds down. Here's actually the fire bowl and the fuel line here. We unfold the simmer control knob, and now we're ready to hook the stove to the fuel bottle. Now's a good time to talk about fuel. This stove here will work off of white gas, auto gas, kerosene, and jet aviation fuel. So you're usually going to have something around to power the stove with. Now, stoves come in many types. There's like butane or canister propane type stoves. There's alcohol stoves, tablet stoves. I personally like liquid, just for many reasons. It's easier to find, in my opinion. A little bit of liquid goes a long way. Bottles you can find in many different sizes. MSR, which stands for Mountain Safety Research, actually sells 3 different size bottles. Here's an 11-ounce bottle. They're very lightweight. Now, the bottles themselves just weigh a couple of ounces empty. And the fuel that goes in them, we're using white gas today, is about 2/3 of an ounce in weight per fluid ounce in the bottle. This bottle carries 20 ounces, and then there's a 30-ounce bottle, which obviously carries 30 ounces. There's enough fluid in here to last 2 people a 3-day camp out, or a nice long weekend camp out where you're cooking just about every meal. This will last 2 people pretty close to a week, 5-6 days a week. And then the 30-ounce, I've got to believe, I've never used one that long, but will probably last you a good 10 days with a couple of people cooking. But always you want to match your bottle and your fluid to your stay. Don't get excited and take too much, because it's just extra weight in your pack and extra bulk, and nobody needs that. Today we're going to be using the 20-ounce bottle, and it's about half to 2/3 full. So we're going to undo the adult-proof cap. Now, it's very important when you set your cap down not to set it down in the dirt. I like to put mine up, or maybe even put a little piece of paper cloth over it. You don't need bugs climbing on it, and this stuff will kill them. They'll die right there. They'll get into your fluid, and then it ends up getting in your stove, plugging stuff up, and you don't want dirt in it. So find a good place to set this. Here's the pump. Now, you want to sort of put that guy in there first. I have no idea what that's called, but that goes in there first. and you kind of bend the neck, put that down, and then you want to get a good seal, screw this down, but you don't want to screw it down too tight. You just want to get it snug and then maybe just a little bit more. Okay, now when this canister is full, you should never fill it past where it starts to curve, and you can fill it and you can look down there and see. You want to leave some head space for two reasons: so that the pump can go down in it, and secondly, so that you can get some air pressure in this bottle. If it were all fluid, you couldn't get any air pressure in there. If you're about this full, you're going to need 20-25 pumps to get cooking. If you're about half to 2/3 full, where I'm at right now, you probably want to put about 40 pumps in it. So let's get to pumping. Okay, that seems like it's about 40 pumps. Now, to make it easier for the fuel line to insert into the receptacle in the bottle, just get a little saliva on it. Helps it go in a little easier. Make sure the bail is over on this side. And it's sometimes a little tough. You have to just kind of work that guy in there, put down the pump, snap that bail on there. That's nice and secure, and no fluid's going to get out. Now we're just about ready to get started. We make sure that our simmer valve is closed, and you're going to open the stopcock or the valve on the bottle first, and then control everything with the simmer valve. One of the reasons I like this stove so much, some of the other MSR products such as the Whisper Light, the Pocket Rocket, and other stoves you'll use, they're either on or they're off. You do have a stopcock at the bottle, but the problem is they're very poor, or just not very good at controlling the flame. Now, when you simmer, you can fry chicken, you can grill onions or fry onions, different vegetables, you can cook pancakes, you can cook bacon. When you're with a stove, using a stove that's just on or off, it's very good for boiling water. And if all you're going to do is make soup or hot cocoa or coffee or dehydrated foods, the advantage in those stoves is they're much smaller and they're less expensive. So you may want to opt for one of those stoves. However, this is kind of referred to as a gourmet stove. If you want to, it's very good at boiling water, but it will also do other things such as simmer, allowing you to cook a whole number of foods and fry and things like that. So again, one of the reasons this is my personal favorite. So we're almost ready to go here. So we're going to open the stopcock. Now what we want to do is we want to prime this stove. We want to get a little fluid into the bottom of the bowl, and we will light that, and it heats things up. There's actually an element in there, and then the gas will come through that element, and it's like supercharging itself. It'll heat that fluid, and then it just keeps going, and you'll get a nice flame, and you'll be able to cook very, very efficiently, very quickly. Now, if it's at dusk or at night and you're trying to get this started, what you need to do is use a flashlight to make sure that you get the proper amount of fluid in the bottom of the bowl. It's not dark now, so we won't need that. What I've got here is a piezo lighter. These are relatively inexpensive, about $10, and they work very well. However, they have been known to be fragile, so always take matches. You don't need a box this big, but take some matches along with you as well. So what we're going to do is open the the simmer control, and some fluid just squirted in there. I probably got a little bit too much, so expect a nice flame here. We're going to let this flame go until everything cooks down, but there you see. You also want to be very careful. You want to do this a little bit at length so you don't get a flash and burn the hair off of your face or your eyes. You should probably actually have this a little bit further out than I'm doing it, but I'm trying to keep everything in camera frame here. I'm trying to get it started, still not ready. One of the things I'm going to do is take the fuel down. This is Crown Camp Fuel. This is white gas that we're burning today. And Crown is a popular brand. Coleman is a popular brand. It's about, $7, $8 a gallon. I usually buy what's cheapest. White gas is white gas. There's no need to pay more than you need to. So the one drawback on this stove is that it's pretty noisy. It really doesn't bother me, but it tends to bother some people. So as you can see, we have a nice little blue flame going here. I'll turn it up so you can hear how loud it is. But I'll tell you, it cooks really fast. So what we've got here is a 1.5 or a 2-quart pot. We've got pre-measured 4 cups or 1 liter or 1 quart of water in here, and we're going to time it and see how long it takes to boil. That's a good measure of a stove's cooking ability. And I'm going to time it here on my phone. So let's get this thing going, and we're going to leave you for a couple minutes and come back when it's just about ready to boil. So it ought to take about 3.5 to 4 minutes. So here we go. I'm going to get this flame going and start the timer. You can hear how loud this is. Alright, we've got about 1 minute and 23 seconds. And you can already see some bubbles in there. Not quite to a boil. It'll take a couple more minutes. But you can see we're at about 1 minute and 36 now.